Halo, balik lagi di sini lah. Kok item? Kok item? Nah, Zero, wih, Zero udah mulai, belum mulai ya? Ini tadi mulai. Tadi nunggu dulu. Ini apa? Nunggu dulu boba ini. Tadi lihat tuh nama minum boba jadi kepengen akhirnya biasa Kang menunggu Kang Gopur. Oke, kita mulai aja. Ini nama gamenya game Stanley Parable ya. Game jadul ini. Suaranya ada nggak? Suaranya gedein dikit deh. Soalnya ini beneran gamenya game ini apa? Nanti dia ada ceritanya gitu. Gamenya kocak. Game lama kalau mau main juga bisa ya. Ini game jadul banget gitu. Ntar aku cek dulu suaranya. Oke. Nah, kita mulai gamenya ya. Mudah-mudahan nggak error ya. Hey, Ahmad Raffi, halo. Waduh, 2 kali ya datang. Thank you, thank you. Mudah-mudahan nggak error ya ini karena game jadul, tapi gamenya kocak ini. Loadingnya lumayan ternyata ya. Yang belum minum silakan minum, yang belum makan makan dulu jangan lupa ya. Ini aku sambil minum bobanya karena tadi lihat tuna tuh jadi kepengen akhirnya beli deh.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Kita
Stanley
ikutin
worked
aja
for a
nih
company in
ceritanya
a
ya.
big building where he was employee number 427. Employee
Ini si
number
Stanley.
427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk.
Gitu doang kerjanya.
What buttons to push, how long to push them, and
Tuh.
in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul,
Gitu doang kerjanya.
Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single
Nggak ada
order
lagi
had
perintahnya.
arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Kan harus dimunculin ininya ada nggak ya? Video, audio. Ya nggak ada ininya ya. Kayaknya aja ini mau game lama sebenarnya. Udah jadul gitu. Oke. Nggak ada ininya ya, nggak ada apa namanya. Nggak game lama sih ya. Nggak ada teksnya. Kalau ada teksnya kocak dong. Ngebut gini larinya.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Tuh, ini ada yang nyuruh ya. Stanley harus ke meeting room. Kalau kita iseng nih misalkan ke sini. Diam di sini. Nanti dia
No
komentar.
matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Kocak. Bisa balik lagi ke sini nggak ya?
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Ininya protes apa namanya? Naratornya disuruh ke ruang rapat, tapi gue malah iseng nih mencet-mencetin semuanya nih. Dia protes tadi. Enggak, nggak ngapa-ngapain. Udah, kita ke ruang rapat. Lihat ini dulu, lihat dulu. Ada ini nggak? Nggak ada ya. Kita jalan ke ruang rapat. Kocak ini gamenya. Coba aja. Ini murah kok. Cuman berapa ya? Game lama juga kok. Cobain aja. Ini apa namanya? Branching kok ceritanya. Branchingnya tapi bohongan ya. Endingnya gitu-gitu aja. Makanya gua tulis di itunya kan, di judulnya branchingnya bohong-bohongan gitu. Udah, ke ruang rapat, Kasian ditungguin sama naratornya. Ruang rapatnya mana? Buset, jauh amat.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nih, mau ke kanan, mau ke kiri? Ayo Zero, pilih. Kanan atau kiri? Mau kita jailin kan naratornya? Ayo pilih, kanan, kiri, kanan, kiri, kanan, kiri, kanan, kiri. Ayo, kanan apa kiri? Hangat. Ambil kanan ya.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge
Kiri.
first, just to admire it.
Aduh. Oke, nanti kalau ada pilihan lagi Zero pilih ya mau kemana ya. Ini kocak-kocakan aja kita. Oh, ini bukan ruang rapat.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Makan gak minum. Kocak, ngamuk itunya apa? Naratornya.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Really worth it. Iya, ayo.
Eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ambil nggak? Apa lurus terus? Iya Zero. Ayo sampai gua minum ya. Ini Zero yang milih ya sekarang. Mau ke kiri apa mau lurus? Coba. Yang nonton berapa sih ini ya? Lurus. Oke, lurus ya.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Dikomentarin dong. Si Stanley nggak bisa liatin arah katanya. Gue suruh kiri dia lurus. Kita ngomong apa lagi? Ini apa katanya? Do not jump from the calculator where information it will cause death. Yeah. Yeah, don't say.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Aduh.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Siapa lagi? Oke, lanjut dulu ya, lurus dulu, nggak bisa kemana-kemana lagi juga. Gelap. Buset. Okay.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Ambil jangan. Zero ambil jangan teleponnya. Aduh asli kocak. Udah lama gak main ini terus lihat jok-joknya jok-jok. Aduh. Nah, aku yang minum ya. Diamin, oke siap. Kita tunggu ya. Aku kalau nggak jangan-jangan harus diambil nih. Tiba-tiba ada telepon ini. Aku belum pernah lihat yang ini sih. Belum pernah jalan kayak yang ini. Ya nggak bisa, harus didiemin. Bisa
As
dicabut.
Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you've made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Atau diputerin video itu dong tentang apa namanya, tentang kerama gitu.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Welcome back.
Ini di mana?
You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Woi, dibukanya. Aduh. Stanley. Ini coba bikin game kayak gini lagi ya. Bikin lagi nggak developernya? Kalau bikin jadi kayak pengen beli lagi. Suruh balik lagi dong. Buset dah.
choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying.
Mau loncat
Imagine the
nggak?
main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Aduh. Udah. Jangan, oke. Kita ikutin aja ya, Pak Narator. Oke. Suruh balik lagi nih. Aduh. Malam-malam tuna. Aduh.
You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Gimana nih tuna? Kita ikutin Pak Narator nggak? Komangwa anak gacan. This is very very interesting game. Old game.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ya pilih. Sekarang giliran tuna. Mau pilih kanan apa kiri tuna? Nagacan, are you choose right or left? This is a choice, a game about choice. Come on, sok pilih kanan apa kiri? Aduh, tuna minum ya. Ini gara-gara tuna nih, jadi beli nih. Mantap. Game breaking fourth wall. Ya, pilih kanan apa kiri? Aku mah ini bebasin sekarang mah. Ini lucu-lucuan aja kita gamenya. Left, oke. Let's go left. Tadi ngamuk naratornya.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Baca nih, tuh. Pelajaran nih, pelajaran. Selainnya aja ngaco. Everyone is unique. You must tunduk. Ini apa nih? Synergies, core value. Terserah Pak Rahmat. Chip global market period monetize. Free to play. Ya, tentang gamenya apa? What do you people want? Things. Money, more money, things. But with money, no right. Ujung-ujungnya tetap aja duit. Grab about things plus money. Aduh, rindu game-game kayak gini nih, game-game GJ tapi dibuatnya bagus gitu. Standard grab, get out of the program. Nggak salah mikirin duit, iya kan itu tuh tadi money. Ini apaan lagi, Fadil? Sukses lanjut. Tuh, tips for not getting fired tuh. Talk less, do unbelievable amazing work all time with no expectation of promotion or recognition. Don't get fired. Aduh.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ke bawah bisa nggak ya? Coba ke bawah ya. Nggak bisa loncat dia. Aduh. Buset, ini apaan? Terus? Mana nih? Ini kantor bosnya katanya, boss's office. No.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability,
Coba apa bikin naratornya capek tadi udah. Sampai aku ngakak-ngakak, buset.
Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door?
Dikasih tahu kodenya.
There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Nggak bisa? Gimana? Please speak clearly to the receiver. Emang ada speakernya gitu? Closed captioning. Oh, ini ada sisinya. Gimana caranya?
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Bisa sih kalau didiamin juga nanti dia ngamuk lagi. Coba kita diamin aja.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step. Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. It's exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oke, kita ikutin ya. Aku belum lihat yang tadi. Yuk, Jessica, halo.
Yet there was not a single person here.
Nih Jessica nih, biar nggak dipecat. Katanya gini nih.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
Selamat malam
When
Jessica.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Coba ke belakang tadi kalau ulang. Tadi yang belum mana ya? Iya, harus nyari yang tadi yang belum sih, Zero. Ini masuk sini kan?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief.
Ke atas. Lah kok error apa ya?
Exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting
Apa
the story
dia?
first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Aduh. Wih, game baru mantap jiwa. Wih, game lama sebenarnya.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Tapi nggak tahu nih kalau error kita mulai lagi dari awal. Oh iya, error nih kayaknya.
Is behaving.
Oke. Error. Game lama Jessica, ini game jadul banget. Jadi game pada waktu developer indie itu ini ya apa namanya? Bagus banget bikin gamenya. Tadi kan kita ke kanan ya. Ya saya kan baru lihat. Yuk. Aku mainin game-game jadul yang menurut aku rame. Entah itu karena kayak ini kocak atau yang diri ya.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door.
Ambil kiri. Tapi asik kok gamenya. Cobain aja Jessica. Kocak ini asli.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nah sini kan tadi error di sini. Game horror. Ini game kocak, ini bukan game horor. Bikin kesel ini bikin
Stepping
kesel.
into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk
Butuh yang menang.
guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
Pijit nggak nih? Ayo Jessica.
But of
Bikin
course,
kesel nggak?
Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Berapa tadi? Gue lupa. Coba dong tadi berapa? Sebutin. Berapa ya tadi ya?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
2846.
2845. Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself.
Ngebuka
And
sendiri.
Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Kesel dibukain sama naratornya. Aduh. Ke situ katanya. Oh, ini horor nih. Katanya Jessica mau game horor nih. Oh, mulai horor lagi loading. Aduh.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him?
Butuh yang kayak
question
Red
would not
Out,
go unanswered
buset.
for long.
Red Out mengerikan aja. Karena hantu-hantunya hantu Indonesia. Kalau Jepang kan ada Jepang gitu.
Stanley
Amerika
walked
di
straight
Amerika.
ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ayo, mau lurus mau kiri. Escape apa main control? Escape apa main control? Kebalik ya. Malam, minum maki Sora. Ayo, escape apa main control? Ini gamenya lucu-lucuan sih sebenarnya. Game kocak. Pilih mana ya? Mana yang paling asik? Sini. Oke, kita coba main control ya. Lurus aja Kak, siap. Gelap. Nyalain katanya.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible
Escape-nya
secret
itu aja
could this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
Jangan-jangan ini Maki Sora udah pernah main lagi nih.
Find out.
Mana? Oh, ke sana ya. Aku sambil minum ya. Yang mau minum jangan lupa minum, belum makan dulu. Dan keluarga. Mau ini harus dinyalain katanya.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where
Tuh di
freedom
monitor
meant
katanya.
nothing.
Di monitor katanya. Itu semua pegawainya nih dari sini katanya. Oke, kita lanjut ya. Belum makan Kak karena belum disuruh ayang. Wah. Waduh. Nih.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Lebay itu. Suruh naik ya? Naik. Oke, ayo.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was
Never.
unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad
Halo
or
Miyuki,
content.
welcome to the
Walking,
stream.
eating,
Belum
working,
makan karena belum
all of it
disuruh
monitored
ayang.
and
Waduh,
commanded from this
kedua.
very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again
Karamat.
exert
Ui,
its terrible
Miyuki.
power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Main control status online. Nggak bisa ya, nggak bisa diapa-apain ya. Kalau kata Pak narator sih katanya disuruh dimatiin. Ini apa nih? Ini kenapa-napa? Lampu-lampu doang. Mana matiin? Console disable. Status offline. Ini apa? Ini apaan? Suara-suara doang. Kayak ini ngapain nih sekarang? Katanya suruh matiin. Tapi nggak ada yang bisa dipencet-pencet. Ini katanya di sini. Apa nih? 5. Mind control idle awaiting input. Sini. Ini 5 apaan nih? Apa nih? System power. On
When
apa
at
off nih?
last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Kita off dulu deh. Gelap. Oh, udahan? Udahan ini? Udahan tamat? Apa belum?
And a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Enggak, belum. Game ini tidak semudah itu, Ferguson.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
Lebay, Bapak, lebay.
Even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles...
Halo, Stephen Lin. Welcome to the
Where
stream.
had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries...
Ini gimana nih, Pak? Suaranya bagus. Tumben nggak lanjut Pak. Ya, ini lagi iseng-iseng dulu.
Into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Kirain udah tamat Fallout-nya. Wah, Fallout masih panjang ya. Ini.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of
Asli ini tamat nih.
before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Wih, gitu tamatnya. Oh iya, udah tamat tadi. Aduh, coba kalau kita nyalain itunya ya.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Apa mulai lagi? Kirain udah
When
tamat.
Stanley came to a set of two
Kirain
open
udah tamat.
doors, he entered the
Malah
door on his
masih
left.
Nuka-Cola ya belum tamat. Terus main story-nya juga belum ditamatin.
Yet there was
Santuy
not a
dulu.
single person here either. Feeling a wave of
Ini udah,
disbelief,
tadi kita
Stanley decided
kita
to go
cepetin
up to
aja
his
ya.
boss's office. Hoping he might coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ini udah, lanjut. Kantornya di sebelah kiri.
Stepping into his manager's office,
Masuk ke
Stanley
berapa
was
tadi
once
kodenya?
again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
Naratornya
That
nggak
kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Aduh, kapan? Gue demen banget nih game-game begini. Terlalu lambat disalahin, terlalu cepat
Feeling
disalahin.
soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the open passageway.
Stanley. Ini developernya bikin lagi nggak ya game kayak gini nih? Kocak asli.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door
Masuk.
that read,
Nah,
"Mind
nanti kita coba
Control
kalau yang
Facility."
sekarang dinyalain ya. Kayak gimana nih nanti. Kita coba nyalain. Tadi kan kita matiin. Ininya apa namanya main controlnya.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
Fire itu dipecat
Each
tuh satu
bore the
orang.
number of an employee in the building,
Dua dipecat.
Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Nah, masuk sini ya kayak tadi. Main aja.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been
Udah kayak cewek aja selalu
manipulated to accept
disalahin.
it blindly?
Iya nih. Pak naratornya sih si bapaknya. Santuy, Pak, santuy.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible?
Kalau
Had he
nyalahin
truly
maksudnya.
spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Mana nih kok? Oh, kesini.
But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would
Funny.
never again exert its terrible power
Halo, apa
over
itu?
another human
Oh, nggak
life.
kelihatan sih.
For he would dismantle the controls
Coba
once
nyalain ya.
and for all.
Tadi kan matiin.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say
Jadi sadis.
2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
Halo,
A moment of
halo
silence
Rian, welcome
before
to the
you're
stream.
obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly. what
Dikasih tahu ceritanya nih.
I erased them. I turned off
Waduh,
the machine. I set you free.
buset.
Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
Buset.
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much.
Ini kasih tahu, jadi emang dia yang
I'm
hapus
going to put
katanya.
some extra time on the clock, why not?
Nah,
These are
buset.
precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
Wah, jadi gila ini.
You're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Pem. Aduh. Kalau dinyalain berarti meledak. Balik lagi nih. Nah, oke, sekarang kita ke kanan ya.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Kita lurus ya. Ada ini kan, ada apa tadi?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Oke, kita lanjut. Yang tadi yang telepon ya. Yang telepon.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Nah, ini kita ambil tadi, soalnya tadi nggak diambil. Putih doang.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha.
Waduh.
Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Whoa, nice.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Oh, gini. And
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
waduh. Coba kalau nggak ditekan gimana ya? Biasanya ada counternya sih. Jadi dia ngitung gitu berapa detik, kalau nggak ditekan nanti biasanya dia muncul. Wah beneran nggak bisa nih. Aduh, iseng.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Wah, mengerikan gini ya.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he
Kocak.
wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and
Betul ini free pak.
destinations.
Kamu dulu
Down
bayar
one
ya?
path
Nggak
lay
tahu
an
nih
enormous
sekarang. Free
round
nggak ya?
room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the
Gamenya
Stanley
maksudnya iya.
Parable.
Aku lupa. Ini apa nih?
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and
Buset.
then again, and again.
Dulu bayar sih, dulu
over and
bayar.
over,
Soalnya ini
wishing
gamenya
and
udah lama
hoped
banget
that it
tuh.
would never
Beneran.
end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be?
Jadi
In
kantor nih
reality, all
berubah
he's
nih.
doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Kocak.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop.
You want
Here,
some?
watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Gak bisa dipencet dong.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time.
Jadi lihat
And
lagi
I
game.
tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Aduh. Kocak, kocak. Itu tadi itu tadi ke kanan escape.
What could it mean?
Ke
Decided to
kiri
go to
terus
the
escape.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Habis berapa giga pak? Berapa ini? Kecil sih. Ini game lama kok. Ntar berapa ya? Jadi penasaran. Kayak backroom gak sih? Itu yang mana ya backroom ya? Wait. Gue kayaknya nggak tahu malah yang backroomnya ini soalnya game lama juga sih Stanley. Ya, aku jadi penasaran juga berapa giga ya. Mau download tapi memori laptop penuh. Mana nih si Stanley? Tuh cuman 1,9 giga. Game-game yang sekarang aja kayak Valo aja udah 15 giga sendiri gitu. Dia masih 1,95. Kecil banget sih. Kalau zaman dulu mungkin gede ya. Stanley. Mana si Stanley? Nambah memori tapi bisa ngerti aku. Nambah ininya, nambah kapasitasnya.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Ini udah ya.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
The backroom adalah engine urban dan creepypasta yang menceritakan kisah labirint tak berujung. Dari ruang kantor dibuat secara acak. Wah, nambah RAM. RAM sama ini beda ya. RAM sama memori RAM sama hard disk tuh beda gitu. Aku nggak ngerti, mau coba. Jadi kalau misalkan
Okay, I think
mau
we all know the drill
nginstal
by now.
biasanya
Blah,
pakai
blah,
ini.
blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Kill surprise.
Apa namanya tuh? Biasanya ini sih hard disknya ditambah kapasitasnya biasanya gitu. Jadi ada dua ya. Jadi kalau RAM itu buat pemrosesan gitu. Jadi kalau kalau RAM itu kayak misalkan kita bisa banyak buka Google Chrome gitu kan. Itu ke RAM. Nah, kalau misalkan nyimpen file, nyimpen game itu ke hard disk biasanya. Jadi kalau misalkan ada yang kurang, biasanya di hard disknya gitu. Rata-rata kalau laptop sekarang sih udah minimal 8 GB kayaknya ya RAM-nya.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
Nah, ini
Facility.
kita ke kiri nih. Apa yang terjadi?
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Lah, nggak nyampe-nyampe ini panjang amat.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this
Aku mau
point,
nambah hard
Stanley
disk
was
aja,
making
iya
a
bisa.
conscious, concerted effort to
Ke,
walk forward
jadi
and willingly confront his
kalau nggak
death.
ngerti kan bisa ke tukang servis ya, maksudnya minta ditambahin gitu hard disknya. Kenapa? Mati kita. Beneran. Masih hidup ternyata. Kira mati.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his
Di price
demise,
katanya.
it reflected that his life had been
Laptop tuh
of
bisa
no
ditukar tambah
consequence
nggak?
whatsoever. Stanley can't see the
Tuh,
bigger
lemon.
picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is.
Tuh bisa ditukar
Perhaps his
tambah nggak
death was a
katanya
form
kata
of
lemon.
loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man.
RAM mentok di 16 pak, soalnya aku disuruh nambah RAM sama abang-abang yang bilang, oh iya udah bagus 16 mah. Iya soalnya ini aja yang aku pakai sekarang tuh udah 16 ini RAM-nya. Terus diam dia.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led
Kenapa
helplessly
berubah
into
ini
the enormous
naratornya?
metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Lah.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
What?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
What?
Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
What? Buset. Office layout. Wih, kok nice gini. Nambah ini, kalau memori itu RAM ya. Kan kalau Jessica udah bagus tuh udah 16. Yang ditambah tuh ininya apa namanya? Hard disknya. Bisa pakai hard disk, bisa pakai SD gitu. Putih semua kayak ruang tahanan. Iya, beginilah. Oh, udah selesai nih, tamat kredit ternyata. Oh, tamatnya gini, buset. Ini apa nih? Minesweeper. Aku mau apa? Downloadin game yang udah aku beli dari Steam, sayang kalau nggak ya. Iya, ini makanya ini aku lagi mainin game lama. Aku udah beli game ini Stanley, terus belum sempat lihat dan iya kayak gitu sih kadang-kadang. Kayak Fallout gitu ya, kayak Stanley Parable ini aku baru lihat yang ininya nih, baru lihat yang ending kreditnya kayak gini. Keren, The Office, Maintenance Room. Ini aku baru lihat yang ininya nih. Ini apa? Kenapa jadi lawan? Lawan alien. Kok ngaco? Tim yang klaim game gratis dari Epic Game adalah saya. Wih, sama sih Lemon. Aku juga dapat apa ya waktu itu tuh dapat Ark terus dapat GTA 5 ya dari Epic Game tuh lumayan dimanfaatin aja. Narator email. Kocak. Oh, ini emailnya ya. Udah kita boxing glove. ini ini endingnya ya, ending nggak tahu keberapa nih. Kebanyakan endingnya mati, di reset bukan mati ya. Apartemen timer. Oh, tuh kalau misalkan nggak diambil ininya, teleponnya ada endingnya yang beda. Udah tamat ini beneran. Ini tamatnya banyak. Ini tamat yang nggak tahu keberapa. Tapi aku belum dapat yang ini sih waktu dulu pertama kali main ya. Belum dapat tamat yang ini. Jadi ini kaget juga. Oh, ada yang kayak gini ya ini. Kayak developernya tuh bikin ruangan gitu khusus grinding lever. Kocak. Escape menu. Monitor room elevator. Oh, ini yang countdown roomnya. Kalau meledak tadi kan. Countdown dress. Ini kemana lagi? Bisa luas juga ya ruangannya ya. Jam doang dipajang. Ini si bosnya tuh. Berasa nemu harta karun. Iya. Ya inilah kalau kita main ini kan game lama ya. Aku udah nggak main game ini lama banget terus mainin lagi ya gini banyak ketemu hal-hal baru gitu. Yang dulu mungkin udah malas maininnya gitu atau ntar lagi mau main tapi lupa gitu nggak dimain-mainin gitu. Ini kayaknya udah apa nih? Putih gini. Udah yang bisa dipencetnya nih. Oh tadi sih itu dari situ datang. Udah ini terakhir kayaknya. Nggak ada lagi ya? Oh nggak ada lagi udah berarti ini beres. Oh ininya tuh kantornya tuh. Stanley Office. Jadi dia ada beberapa tipe tuh katanya. Yang terakhir yang ini nih. Aduh. Ini udah. Game design mockup. Oh. Ini udah ya tadi ya. Sip nih sini katanya.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Oke. Tamat sepertinya.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move
Disuruh escape terus quit loh.
forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you.
Biarin aku
Don't
biarin.
let time
Eh. Aduh, absurd bingit. Tuh gitu. Jadi tamatnya tuh quit. Loh ini nggak loading dia. Aduh, ini beneran hitam loh. Nggak loading, nggak apa. Udah tamat. Aduh. Udah berapa sih? Sejam ya? Kocak juga sih. Ya oke, mungkin segini dulu konten kali ini karena gamenya udah tamat dan ini beneran hitam ya tuh. Udah nggak bisa dipencet apa-apa lagi. Harus quit. Harus begin the game again dan balik lagi ke depan. Oke, jadi segini dulu ya. Thank you. Yang udah datang, ayo kita absen. Ada Zero, ada Matra Vidian Kusuma, thank you. Terus ada Tuna juga, thank you. Naga-chan, arigato Naga-chan. Jessica, thank you. Ada Zero, ada Inumaki Sora, thank you. Ada Miyuki juga. Ada Stephen Lin, ada Rian. Ada Lemon terakhir. Thank you Lemon udah datang. Jessica. Ini aku ini dulu ya, aku end stream dulu. Terus besok juga harus ngantor, jadi mungkin segini dulu ya, sampai malam kalau hari ini. So, sekali lagi thank you yang udah datang. Otsu, Jessica. Sampai jumpa pada stream berikutnya. Bye-bye.